Okie dokie. Alright, so this little thing here, this just sets me up better for the run down the start finish straight. It's not something you have to do, but it's something I like to do to set myself up, because it gets me a better run it gets me a better run compared to when I would do the chicane normally. Okay, so into turn 1. My braking marker for turn 1 is the 100 board here. And just as it hits my pillar, so this is my braking, this is my view. Just as it's, oh, not reverse. Just as it hits my sort of A pillar and goes out of my vision. See, as soon as it's disappeared on the left there, that's when I'm absolutely mashing the brake pedal. Down the gears, all the way to first in the Macca for, every car should be first, other than the Macca, which is down to first, and then short shift to second as you turn around the corner. Now, there's actually a lot of ways you can do this corner. You can do it this way, or you can do it the esports line, which is basically you just stay straight all the way out here, and then do a really sharp turn, so you're basically straight as you come at that second part to hit the apex. But this is just the line I prefer. Get all the way down until you feel like you're going to hit the wall. And then the second here just helps the McLaren come out of the corner and have that acceleration a bit better. Every other car through there should be first. But yeah. That's a really critical quarter to get right. Specifically because because Eau Rouge should be flat, that first corner needs to be done really, really well, because that's your run all the way down this long straight. But for that to happen, this needs to be done flat, and it can be done flat. It's sketchy as hell in some cars. The Macca, it's actually pretty good. If you're in a Ferrari, good luck. The Mustang's nice up here. Porsche's good up here. Most cars are pretty good. Off memory, probably the Ferrari's the worst one up Eau Rouge, actually. But anyway, for Eau Rouge, I come all the way across to the white wall. Now, by the point I go past this black flag, the last black flag on the left here, like there's a couple as you come down. So there's 3. So as I'm passing that final one on the left, just here, that's when I'm going to start turning in and pointing towards the apex. Now I'm pointing towards the apex. Now the amount I cut here is a lot, and everyone you'll see who does it will. Basically, you're putting your inside rear wheels on this white stuff, because the more you come over to the left here, the less radius of a corner this is up here, therefore making it a lot easier to be flat. So putting your tyres all the way on the left, staying flat all the way up, get close to that. You can clip this, try not to, because it can give you a little bit of a bounce and kill you. And then, so basically that's the track limits. Like that was basically perfect for me, I reckon. I doubt there's going to be much left in that. Oh no, I'm going this way. That is... Fuck, how did I actually keep that valid? Half a tyre, that's fine. Right. Oh, no. Yeah, plenty of room. Anyway, yeah, that white line there, that's basically your track limits. This is where you're going to get a lot of your track limits if you're not careful. This was obviously push lap, so I wouldn't be nearly pushing this hard up Eau Rouge. But that whole time I was flat from the bottom all the way through the top. So hitting that dead grass on the left, getting as close to that and following this curb all the way around, straight. Cut that as much as you can without invalidating. as the more you cut there, the straighter this run is down here, the more speed you'll carry, etc, etc. Now the braking into this corner is really, it can be really tricky. I found it really tricky for the McLaren in particular, as you feel like you can brake a lot later than what you can. It feels like there's a big spot where you can brake, but there's only, to get it right, there's only really one sort of general spot. For me, I look for about a car width, so a car width, not length, so a car width before that your red and orange curb. So that's, God, that's hard to time. Let's go back a little bit. So that for me is there. Actually, that'll probably be about a car length. That might be a bit early. Yeah, that's about a car length. So rephrase that. About a car length before this red and yellow curb. Now, as I come in here, I do try and get my left wheels onto this red and yellow curb on the left. I don't think I do. I mean, I do slightly. That just gives me a little bit more wiggle room to open up the radius of the corner. It's not something you have to do. Don't worry about coming over really aggressively to make sure you get on that. That's just something I like to use. You can play with that if you want to. Just be careful of going too far over and clipping the grass. Now, I think this is the where I turn in. Oh no, this is the perfect one, I think. Yeah, so this is basically bang on my markers, actually. I was actually really happy with this. So now this one for my turning point is, oh no, here we go. So see how there's like multiple layers of fences here on the left? There's this grey one right close, there's this green one, there's another green one. This grey one is the one I'm looking at for a turning point. So that's my braking marker, and then I'm looking to the left all the way up here. Once these grey fences on the left, that last post, once that disappears, then I start giving a little bit of steering angle, and I aim for this very edge of this green stuff. Get all the way over that, and always carry throttle. I'm always carrying throttle. As soon as I try to go over this curb, I'm carrying throttle to stop the car from bouncing out and bouncing off this really weirdly and shooting me too far over to the left, which ruins my run through this through the chicane. So holding the throttle keeps me over to the right, up to third. This is just a McLaren acceleration thing. Most other cars should still be second, I think. Now, this is probably something a lot of you don't know, is that you want to hook your inside wheels into this curb, as it hooks you round so well. If I run at full speed, you can probably see just how, you can sort of see how it sort of tram lines all the way around there. That's what you want. You need to be careful using too much, because it can spin you and make you lose your rears. But getting your inside wheels into here, into that little, like, see how it sort of raises a little bit? Getting your wheels into there helps you tram line around that corner. It makes you carry so much more speed. Again, I think I hold mainly, oh no, not really. I try and hold a little bit of throttle all the way around here, but clearly you don't need to, because I didn't. And then as soon as you come off that curb, fight to get back to the left. Set yourself up. I've missed my apex a little bit here, but that's not actually too bad. As long as you clip that a little bit. You don't want to be up on the green stuff there, as it'll unsettle the car and bounce you out to the left. But just clip that a little bit. Have I clipped it all? Tiny bit. Probably a little bit more curb. Just the red and yellow stuff. Nothing really more than that. Will just help you shorten the radius of this corner a bit more. All the way up on the exit. You can actually invalidate there. Something I will go back and touch on is so I don't actually have a braking point in here. I don't actually have anything into this corner, as it's just a lift. I mean, I guess something could go off, could be maybe the end of this red wall on the right. Like, as that disappears, wait a second and then probably lift off and start pointing towards the corner to clip that. But I think the main thing here is to notice my throttle input, is just how eager I am to get on the throttle. So as soon as I've turned to the right, I'm off the throttle, coasting, trying to get back on, waiting a little bit, and now I'm flat. Track limits here is, I think it's your outside tyre at the end of the yellow and red. So just keep it on this side in between here, the red and yellow part. Another really tricky corner if you don't really know what you're doing. So my braking is the start of that red and yellow curb, nice and easy. It's actually a really good corner for the braking zone. Keep in mind it is downhill and you are going to start implementing a little bit of turn in as you come down the hill. So make sure we are trail braking as much as we can through here. So as soon as we hit that, we're down the gears into second. Now you'll notice how quickly I dive for this first part of the apex. This is simply because these types of corners are my favorite in the fact that I can V them off, and I love these sort of corners because it's just all you're looking at is hitting that first, like the earliest point of the curb you can see. That's where you're diving to, and then you just release the brake, let the car rotate, and then just rotate the car on the throttle, as you'll see I'll do here. And it just rotates all the way around really nicely. So probably my main markers here are just get straight down to the apex, hold a little bit of brake the whole way around, get on the throttle at this green patch here, probably just before it if you can, and then sort of hold that, and then if you can, use your throttle to help you rotate and bring the rear around. Now just be very, very careful on this AstroTurf, as it can be very, very slippery, and you can very easily lose the rear and end up in the wall. I don't want to say how many times I did that because it was a lot. Now No Name, I hate No Name. I'm always going to say I hate No Name because I hate this corner. Basically, as soon as you come out of this right, you fight to get back over the left. Some people get up all the way on this right curbing. You can try, see what you like. For me, I feel like it unsettles the car, makes the rear too light. So when I tap the brakes to go into this corner, it just doesn't agree with me. So I decide just to sort of clip it, but not really go on it much. Into here, there it is. Now this is very tricky to spot, but probably sort of from back here, I'll actually go front views like this first. See how there's like these two, like they're all spaced out evenly, and then there's these two steel bars just about every couple. That's what I'm looking at here. So if I go into this view, so that's the one there. It's really hard to spot. I even miss it every now and again. So it's the middle. It's basically the one that's directly in line with the middle, in the middle of this curb. So that's it there. That's what I'm looking for. As soon as that's gone, then that's when I'm hitting the brake. Shifting to 3, that's just a McLaren acceleration thing. Every other car should be holding second. Clip that inside curb, get on the power as soon as you hit that inside curb, and then just run it all the way out and watch for track limits. I think that's really it. No Name's really just a pain with how little you have to go off. That's why I have to use these gaps in the fences. Just be patient through here, as I've found patience is a virtue in this corner, even though I'm going to say it again, I hate this corner. Pill 1 can be good, can be a shit corner. braking zone is the first orange 2 bars there. As soon as that hits the edge of your screen, down, I think it's A gear. Yeah, it's down 1 gear. My mental markers for coming into here is obviously braking marker at that first red, and then brake and trail brake off until I reach this first part of the apex, which is directly in front of me now. If you watch my braking inputs, I'm starting to trail off, and then once I get to the apex, I'm completely off. And then now I'm coasting, I am not touching anything, if you look down here. Now the next thing I'm looking for is the second I see this green on the inside corner, this edge, as soon as I see that, that's what I'm looking for since all the way back here. As soon as I see that, which at this point is here, that's when I'm hitting the throttle and very slowly applying it and trying to stay as far to the left as I can, as it shortens the distance around here, which is just a little bit more time. As well as if you're finding you hit this curb and it just makes your car stop turning, it does. You get out on the rubber and all the dirty shit out there, and it just makes your car understeer. So I prefer to stay off it. It gains me time from driving less distance, and it stops that random bits of understeer you can get every now and again. And then this should be easy flat. Just run it all the way out to the exit, come back to the left, and we head into Piff Paff. I think that's what this is called, Piff Paff. This is the start of Sector 3 through here. This little section here can be absolutely amazing if you get it right, and it can be awful if you get it wrong. So braking into here is just before this sign. Down into third for me, and just get up on these curbs just a little bit. It just helps the car rotate a little bit more. And stay to the right. I think off memory I was a little bit too far to the left here. Maybe? Oh no, that's about right. But yes, it's sort of one of these corners where you sacrifice this corner to get the left right. So yeah, this can be very, very tricky. As you sort of aiming to get on this little curb as this green patch starts, and then slowly feed on the throttle, and then through this change of direction, you want to come off the throttle, but only fully for a little bit. And then once you get on this curb is when you want to get back on it, so it settles the car. And then obviously we're full as we come off the curb, and run it all the way out. Again, exit curb at Spa can be annoying. This exit curb can make the rear dive for whatever reason, as you can sort of see, it does a little bit there. Yeah, it's basically as soon as I come onto the curb. Now this is another annoying corner. Where am I? I think my braking marker in here is just this first exit curb, entry curb on the left. It's just a little bit before that off memory in the Macca. Every other car should be about that. If not, just bring it back that little bit. And I think it's down a gear. No, if I'm in it, it's in third for the McLaren. I think it must be in second for every other car. Yeah, so it's down to second of the Macca to get the engine braking, and then back up to third for the acceleration. Most other cars should be second, other than maybe like the GTR, and stuff like that. I always say if you want to figure out what gear to go in corners, just look at other track guides / hot laps of particular cars, as they can obviously tell you what, or show you what gear to be in every specific corner, where I'm just in the one car. But yeah, basically this corner is really critical. Is the earlier you get on the throttle there, the longer it's making this straight, and the longer you're going to be on full throttle, which is good. So get on the throttle, run it all the way out to the left, really push our track limits. Again, it's the outside tyres on the green. You feel like you have a lot less room here than what you do. Like if like here, like it looks like I have basically no room left. Where if we obviously go back out here, I still seem to have plenty. Like nearly half a car width. So don't be scared to use the whole track. Now this corner has to be flat. There's no really question about it. Something I found for me is if you're coming off this curb and the rear comes around, it's because you're turning and dropping down off the curb too aggressively. Just turn in earlier, but just very easy turn in and put little bits of steering angle, as it will stop the car dropping off this curb and bringing the rear round and having a little bit of a complaint. If I run this through at normal speed, you'll see how sort of smooth it is, basically on tram tracks, and it just comes around really, really nice. And that's just because it comes off that curb so nicely. I think the biggest thing is getting your turning point right off here. Where for me, I don't think I ever really stopped turning out of the first. I guess I do a little bit out of here. But my turning point is that marshal on the right. Once I see that, I wait about a second and then I dip in. Hit that, just clip, don't go all the way up on it, but definitely clip that inside curb just to make sure you're using all the track you have available to you, and then run all the way out to the left. I come over to the right here as a habit from an old 1.8 thing where it's for whatever reason it would give you less time. It would gain you time for track driven length or something. You don't have to do that, but the main thing you're looking for is just to come all the way out here ready for Francorchamps, that's what this is called. Now, the more you can come over to the left here, the better. I think I'm pretty marginal. Yeah, I'm on the edge here. Oh, I come over even more. If your left-hand side tyres go on the right-hand side of this white line, that's invalid, so just be careful on that. Now, in the Macca, in some setups, this corner can be ridiculously deadly. Other cars, it might be similar. Other cars, it might be very opposite. So definitely something to be careful of. If you are having a issue where you're turning in, getting to about the curb, and the car just gives up and it feels like the rear just doesn't hang on anymore, it's another one of those things where you turn in probably a couple meters earlier, but do it very, very slight. As you can see, I'm a long way back from the corner back here, and I've already got my steering angled in. And just get to your apex, and just be really, you can see I still have a little bit of a moment about here. So it's all about, if the car's sketchy through here, it's all about being really smooth and minimizing your steering input just to keep the car alive through there. Still should be flat. Should have no lift through there in quali trim. Now, running into the last chicane, my marker is... my first point is this line. This once the shadows come over, this can be hard to spot, but you can still see it. So I always like to use this white line as it never moves, never changes. You could also use the 150 board, as that's basically when I start to brake anyway. It's just as I go over that, basically, is when I'm hitting the brakes. Other cars can be a lot later. Other cars can be at the start of the rubber line there, which is about 125 meters or something. The Macca just has absolutely god-awful brakes. But basically, as soon as I cross this line in the Macca is when I am hitting the brakes. So, yeah. 100% brake all the way in, down to first. Get all the way up on the curb. Now, I hit the accelerator just a little bit to get me to the next corner. Spin the rears up, get the car rotated a little bit. As I switch to the weight transfer. I still hold a little bit of throttle before just tapping the brake, shifting up to second for the acceleration, hitting your apex, and accelerating all the way out. Just watching on our wheel spin as we drive out of the corner. I'll run that through again, just because this is so tricky to get right all the time. Trailing in, I probably take a little bit too much there as I clip that sausage curb. Try not to hit the sausage curb, but take as much of that curb as you can. Stay to the right as much as you can. Flick in. For me, it's up to second in the McLaren. And basically, as soon as you hit this apex, just very slowly get the power on, watch the wheel spin, and then drive it straight to the line. And that does it for a lap of Spa. This lap was a 2:16.455. I'll run it through full speed for you before we finish off. I'll go in here with that. Alrighty. Oh, that's in. Alrighty. That's an interesting. Alright. I decided to go back to the truck apparently. Anyway, thank you for. This is really odd. There we go. Thank you for showing up.